Okay, well, good morning, Tammy,
Good
my dear friend.
morning, Julie.
Um, it is Tuesday, March 30th, 2021, and we are here. We are here.
You're here. Spring has sprung.
Spring has sprung. Oh, I'm so glad spring has sprung. Boy,
No.
it's sort of funny because I'm just going to go on this tangent for a second, and then I'll come back. We'll introduce ourselves, but it's like every season as we get to the end of a season, it's like, "Oh, I can't wait for the next season. Oh, I can't wait for the next season. Oh, I can't wait for the next." We wish our lives away, don't we?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm Julie Hawkins. I'm the biz psychic, juliehawkins.com, Julie Hawkins, comma, the biz psychic on YouTube, and lots of lots of private readings lately. I tell you, people are, and Bella's here with me at tail. And I'm here with Tammy, my friend Tammy. Tammy can be found.
Yes. Hi, everyone. Tammy Langowski, and you can find me at tammysintuitive.com. And you can check out my channel messages on Tammy's Intuitive Services Facebook page and Instagram. I'm an intuitive advisor to your questions, do channel readings, working with clairaudience, clairvoyance. And yes, it's a busy time of the year, as Julie said. Lots of readings and all that good stuff. So we are available. Contact us if you're interested in having a session. And I'll let you go back to what you were going to start out with there, Julie.
Well, I think we have a question today, so we're going to get to that shortly,
Yay.
um, which I'm excited for because I love questions.
Yeah.
So Tammy asked me, how did I do after my second vaccine?
Yes.
And I said, oh, I had a really terrible, like, ooh, do I have a brain tumor headache for 2 days, and then poof, it was gone. But what I heard the other day from Dr. Fauci, and I don't watch the news terribly a lot, but I do watch it occasionally. Um, is something that we had channeled a long time ago at the very beginning of this pandemic, which is that I remember a friend of mine who's also channels. She said, "Oh, I don't know. This is such a nothing. I was here for H1N1, and I don't see what the big deal is." And I went, "Oh no, oh no, 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 no. This is going to be big. This is definitely different and big." And I remember a few, maybe it was late last year, early this year. I don't remember. I have to go back and look at the YouTube videos, but that that they talked about it morphing and mutating into other strains, and that was the language they had given me at the time. Now they're calling it variants, and I just remember them saying that it was such a tenacious virus that it was going to go wherever it needed to go and do whatever it needed to do to survive and to propagate. And I was just like, I could feel that, it was like, you're not getting rid of me. Not so fast. And I heard Dr. Fauci just, I think 2 nights ago, say almost exactly the same thing. And it was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I said that, months ago. So, well, they said that months ago, it wasn't me, but yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
I just felt validated that I heard him say that.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. It's like, unfortunately, right? But yeah, exactly. And, we just all got this same old thing. All got to do the best we can do here and, keep our spirits up, keep ourselves healthy the best we can, emotionally, physically, take care of ourselves. This is really a time of self-care. Things you've heard already, but, just kind of emphasizing that again.
Exactly.
So,
And it's just going to be a lot of highs and lows. We are going to see it's going to spike, and then we're going to level off a little bit, and then we're going to spike, and we're going to level off, and it's going to do that consistently throughout the year. Nothing horrifically high, which is the good news.
mhm.
But this is not. It's just not going away. And every time I go back and think, when I asked them and they told me 3 years, and I was just like, really? And I just feel like, here we are, year
Yeah,
two. It's like a little bit less than year one, but yeah. And
right. I agree. And I would say, the mindset is, just, I mean, I would think that some good advice might be just, sure, when we're down on numbers and all of that, celebrate, but in a healthy way, of course. But don't let your guard down, and I mean that emotionally as well. Because, it'd be easy to get into this whole state like, oh, it's behind us. I mean, I even felt myself slipping into that. And I'm like, oh, not so fast there, Missy, you know better than that. But, it's not that I did things that I shouldn't be doing. I don't mean that, but just the mindset a little bit. And I thought, no, it's okay to feel good and to have a reprieve a little bit, but we do have to have we have to be on guard, and I think emotionally as well, because I think that helps to protect ourselves emotionally as well, you know?
I'm glad you bring that up, and I want to share this because it fits right in. So a few days ago, I I was on a walk with my friend Sheila, as we do, 5 days a week, generally speaking, and 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 I was guided to cross the street. Which I never, sometimes this information, as you call it, Tammy, it just drops in, right? And I'm like, oh, let's cross the street. We never walk over there. Hence the word never, because we never do it, right? We
Mhm.
get to the next block and I'm drawn and I look over and there's a dead cat in the street.
Oh,
And I was beside myself. I really didn't even know what to do. And Sheila's like, okay, let's see if we can pick it up and move it off, because the cat was still warm. I mean, it had literally just happened.
mhm.
And I was so, we moved it, and then all of a sudden the emotion hit me. And and I literally was crying the whole rest of the day. And and while it was somewhat about the cat, what I realized, oh, feeling
Right.
a lot of emotion right now,
Yeah.
is that it's so much bigger than that. I literally was depressed for 2 days, which is very unlike me. And I think I just let in, or was tapping into, all the hate that's in the world,
Mhm.
all the, we're so tired of everything, the depression, the all the emotions that I felt like I was feeling everybody's everything for 2 days.
That's a good point. Julie, that's a great, well, I'm sorry that happened to the cat. Obviously, you're meant to be there for that reason, but I feel a lot of it was you were blindsided. You were blindsided energetically, right? You had no preparation really for this at all. And it's a good point. Everything you just said, I could see where you would even carry that with you because you didn't have time to really process that. And really, that's a good analogy, metaphor, whatever you want to say, for how things are going right now, and how sometimes we feel all of a sudden that you know, we're just all of a sudden really emotional. And a lot of it is because we are soaking in so much of what's going on an energy level. And can't say enough about meditation and finding ways to release, not just meditation, but actual, in my opinion, and our guides' opinion, because they love ideas of grounding and releasing things down, grounding cords, or whatever visual way you want to do that, but to actually have a way of releasing that. So, yeah, I'm sorry that
Thank
you
you.
know, you had to have that experience.
Honestly, I came back and I told my cat, you're never going out again, ever.
Yeah.
I, as you all know, I have 8 cats, and two of them have been inside outside. And I'm like to the two, "No, sorry, you're never going out again." And then I let Oscar out this morning because he is truly a feral cat. And anyway, that's
I
beside the
know,
point.
I
So
know.
I was just like, I have to trust that spirit, universe, God, whatever his plan is for Oscar, and there's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah.
And
You know something?
I'm
If
not
you don't mind
crushing.
me, I'm
I
sorry, Julie, I didn't mean to cut you off.
to say I don't want to crush his spirit either,
Yeah,
by
right. No, I understand because some animals, they are used to being out in it. I get it. I totally get it. I wanted, the reason I'm sorry, I started over talking you a little bit there is because something was coming in real quick, just about with that cat that passed. And I feel that was definitely orchestrated, as you kind of know. But I feel like you were really guided over to that animal. And it was because they know your love of cats, first of all, animals. But I feel like it was there to be for that cat as well. There was something extra that you were going to be able to give that animal in its transition, even though maybe it had already transitions, maybe hadn't, maybe it was still around a little bit, meaning the spirit. But yeah, I just really got really heavily that you were definitely at the right place at the right time. I'm just sorry the emotion had to be there because I get it. I'm feeling it now myself. So I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah.
We're so empathic sometimes. And I mean, as we were walking back home, I mean, I like was bawling on the way home. I could hardly control myself. And then I turned to Sheila and I said, the cat just thanked us for.
Mhm. Yeah. That's exactly what I feel like. I feel like this cat, not to go in so much more with it, but I feel like this cat needed that extra somebody there. That soul of that cat did more than maybe another might, but there was something there that it needed, and I think you were absolutely nudged in that direction to help with that. So
I think it was feral. Somebody wrote on the neighborhood board that uh, first he thought it was his, and then he brought the dead cat home, and then his cat was there, and
oh,
he buried the other cat. Anyway, somebody described that as being one of the ferals that he had been feeding, and
oh, really? Okay.
it's anyway. I look from the bigger perspective, and they're thank you. They're actually embracing me like angels' wings, and
Yes.
just comforting me and saying, and I get this from the bigger perspective, as I'm sure we all do, that we all have a time and a place and a reason and a season, and animals, they'll come back, and it was time for a new body.
Yeah.
It's it's
Right.
the way it is meant to be. It is, and yes, I was guided to something I never do, so it was obviously meant for us to be there. Thank you
Absolutely.
for thank you for that.
Well, thanks for sharing that too. Thank you for sharing that. So big hug. We all give you a big hug energetically for being there, for that kitty cat. And really that's out of love it's love. It's just love. So
I think what happened for me is it triggered my anger. It made me so angry because I don't know if this happens in your neighborhoods, but where I live, I mean, there's, they race down the street, and they have these gigantic mufflers, and, it's all this macho stuff. And it's so annoying, and a dangerous, and b annoying, and I just think it's not the first time I've heard animals. I see it often on the boards, and I just think, when is it a child? I know there have been adults killed. I see that too. I've heard that too. And it's just it
yeah,
makes, and again, I know from the bigger perspective, it's where they're supposed to be at that time and place. They've fulfilled their contract, and it's time to go.
right.
It doesn't help me feel less angry.
Yeah. For you have to be around it and to be, in the energy of it. Because where I used to live, we had a lot of that too. And even animals that would be more stray. And that was really hard for me. It was, and now where I'm at, I don't see that, thank goodness. But I also, I put that out for the next place that I lived because I saw too much of it and it was very hard. When you are empaths and clairsentient and all that stuff, yeah, it's hard. So
Makes me-
yeah,
it
but
just
blessings to that sweet kitty who crossed.
yeah.
Glad you were there for it.
Thanks.
So
All right. So that was it for the cat story, I guess, today.
yeah,
So and my story. So we have a question from
yeah.
Rudy. Thank you, Rudy. You're such a wonderful support. So we really appreciate it.
Hey, Ruby. Yeah. We
Uh,
hope we don't mind you saying your name. Just
well,
really.
it's public. It's on the board, so I can't.
Right. True. Good point. Okay. So do you want me to kind of state what the question is and kind of?
Yes, please, because I
Okay.
seriously could not locate it to print it.
So basically, the question is, how do you know for sure or for certain, as possible as we can be, when you are receiving messages via signs? Maybe a bird. I won't go in so much detail of what the question that he wrote, but basically it's about that because sometimes if he sees something, we'll say like a hawk or something like that, he's not really sure what he was thinking about. He can't recall maybe what he's thinking about or what his state of mind was at the moment that he sees it. So we're going to address that first, that part of it first. Like, again, how do you know that you are receiving messages via signs? Do you want me to start with that, Julie? Or are you okay with that?
I
Or,
do. I just want to say one thing, which is
yeah,
I think we're always receiving. I think all of us,
yeah,
even if you aren't aware of it, you're always receiving information, signs, and it's just what we filter in or filter out. So I'll just say that, and then back to
I
me. So,
absolutely agree. No, that's well said. Yeah, absolutely. I'm opening up as well right now just to, I can give my own feedback, but also just opening up when you know that you're getting messages through anytime, first pop right in, anytime you are seeing anything that gets your eye, catches your eye, gets your attention, please pay attention because that is not coincidental. Signs do appear, as you just said, Julie, frequently and almost every day if you pay attention. So how do you know it's a message? Sometimes it will be loud and clear. Sometimes you will get the answer through a sign that you see that you've been thinking about. That makes it very clear. And then sometimes we say, if you are noticing the hawk in the sky, and funny because I saw one the other day and I paid attention to how I felt. That's where they're going, they're saying, is pay attention to the emotion that you're feeling, what you are feeling. Not so much of, oh, what does this mean? I see the hawk. What does it mean? Which is natural to maybe think about that. More sit with the energy of it and the presence of that hawk and allow yourself to feel the emotions of what you're feeling at that time. And that in itself can be the message is that you're needing to maybe feel more peaceful. I'm going to jump in with my own example of that. When I saw that hawk, I was sitting out front actually, and I saw it, and I was on the phone. That's right. I was talking to somebody on the phone, and I was watching it, and maybe I should have paid a little bit more attention, but really what I remember thinking and feeling was just how peaceful it was watching it. It's mesmerizing watching a hawk fly around. It's, isn't it though? Even once I say it, I feel like I'm ooh, because it's really nice. And for me at that time, I think it was, yeah, I'm just sharing what I get for myself, if that helps.
yeah,
Was like to step out of so much of maybe my conversation and pay attention to that this is more, ooh, I'm getting super emotional right now.
mm,
And I don't even know what that conversation was,
mm.
to be honest, but I know that's truth. Whenever I get, whew, I think for a lot of us, right? You get a little bit the chills, you get emotional, that's truth. So so in other words, what I'm saying, it was a little bit of a shakeup, right? Hey, you may be on this conversation, in this conversation, talking about something either heavy or maybe not so much, whatever, but then you see that, and it's to remind you what's important or what to focus back on. So there will be times that things will be obvious. Another thing that pops into my mind was a dear friend of mine that had passed. Her daughter later told me about how she was in the kitchen and she had looked out the window. It was nighttime, and she sees a deer out by a tree in their backyard. This is in a different state, and it was more the way that deer stopped and looked right at her in the window, and she instantly thought of her mother. And so she was, asking, yeah, that question to me, just maybe if I could look into that a little bit. And oh, absolutely, it was my dear friend. In fact, what I saw, not so much that she was the animal, but what I saw was that she was crouched down by this sweet little deer. and she was asking it to look, to look in the window. And I saw that vision, and it was so beautiful and amazing to me. So what I loved is her daughter got it. She got the message, mainly because things did pop into her head. So I would say, pay attention again to what you're feeling, sensing, thinking when you see certain things that you kind of pay attention to. They do have meaning. And if you're not sure, ask yourself just simply, how does it make you feel when you're looking at it? What's the moment? What is this moment right now? How does it make me feel? It could be butterflies, or they tell me right now, butterflies are a very common one, as we all know. And that could be like childhood, childlike behavior, going child within sort of thing, tapping into that energy of creativity and viewing the world through the child's eyes, maybe innocence. That's an example, but it may be different for every person. So they are out there. The signs are out there. Don't worry so much if you are not getting it, or man, it's not coming in, for me. Just rest with it. And again, go back to just how you feel at the present time of what you're thinking when you're viewing it and seeing that sign. That's
So,
enough. They told me, so I'm going to Julie. Yeah.
well, we love that whole introduction. That was perfect. It is really about noticing and where you're at and what you feel. And what we want to add to that is just that specifically with animals, animals are messengers and they will happily bring the message. They love doing that. That's what I heard as you were talking. They were telling me that they it, not that it gives them purpose, but they just enjoy it. It's like it's so weird. They just showed me like a raven or a crow that will drop something shiny. They love being messengers. They just really do. So don't be surprised when you see something that has an animal in it, and then maybe you get something, maybe not in that moment, maybe it's later. As I told my story earlier about the cat, my messages, well, I mean, my cats talk to me all the time. I don't know whether we're really, I can't say I'm imagining it because I don't really sit down and have a conversation with them. They're either telling me something or they're not. I mean, that's just the way it is. All animals for me are like that. I feel like Ms. Doolittle. I don't know. As I'm sure you do too, Tammy, right? I
Yes.
mean, it's just because they have messages for us. They want to talk to us. And so sometimes I do imagine them saying, "Oh, look, it's this and this and this," and then they tell us stuff, and we just keep walking. It doesn't happen all the time. I don't have full on conversations with them, but they will drop bits of information for me. All animals will,
Mhm.
and so and I get the drops of information, not so much the, oh, there's a butterfly over there or a hawk flying in the sky. That is not how I receive information. And so, what I want to say to you is pay attention to how you get it. If you are used to getting messages from animals, or you notice them and you pay attention to the pattern, as Tammy and her guide said, pay attention. How do you feel? Is there a pattern to this? Does it always happen XYZ, whatever? For me, it was clearly they dropped it in so I would go find what I needed to find to help that cat. And that's how I work all the time. So let's see if there's anything else about that. Everyone's different. Everyone will process and pick up their things in a different way. That's the beauty of the intuitive nature. It's unique to you, however it shows up for you. So don't think there's something wrong with you if you don't get this or you don't do it that way. It's just you and unique in your own way. Let's see if there's anything else. That's about it. They just said pay attention and liked your opening with that. So yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful, Julie. Thank you. And I did have just a couple of things that dropped in that I just will add to it too, I guess. Add-ons is, yeah, something else too, if I don't know, let's see, I see an animal, I'm not sure, or I'm not really even thinking about what the message is. I just take that opportunity to send it lots of love because, you know, it came into my path for a reason. So, you know, I was watching a sweet little hummingbird the other day, you know, getting some nectar out of one of our plants and, you know, just wrapped it in love as it flew off. And, you know, maybe that sweet little, you know, animal or something is coming to those who are aware, spiritually aware, to get that extra little hug. So, and I would echo what you said, Julie, that animals love to give us the messages. I agree totally. I get that message a lot from our guides that they are the messengers, and that it isn't always, from what I get anyway. Now, I think this differs from some people for some people, but I never get that they're not actually the person. Like, in other words, like I told you about the friend who and the deer. It wasn't like she was the deer, but I usually get that the animals, just like you said, they love to be of service. They love to be of service to us, and so we in spirit, when we are in spirit, know this very well and can work with that. You know, because animals are so full of love for us. They really are, and I realize some have different personalities than others, just like people do. But you know, generally speaking, yeah. So I just wanted to say that I love that message you said because it's I get that so often about that as well.
They're just, you know, they're the epitome, un, inexplicable example of unconditional love. I guess that's probably not really accurate. They
Absolutely.
are unconditional love. And I sometimes just think how we have crowded them out of their own environment for our own use. Ugh, I can't go there. Anyway,
Yeah.
it I'm feeling extra sensitive again today, and I don't.
Yeah, maybe I'm picking up on your energy because I could, because what we were talking about, I was getting like, whoa. But then you know what? We're talking about animals, Julie.
Right?
Don't we just love them? Because just as you said, they are the epitome, the definition of love, like you said, unconditional love. And that feels right. It resonates with all of us. And I think it touches that chord. That's why so many of us love animals. I mean, I think, you know, I hope.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's why.
We need it so much,
Yeah,
especially
we do.
now. So
Yeah.
I just want us to, let me ask them about this because I just want us to really start healing. And they're saying it's going to take time. It's going to take time. We have had years. It's not just the last 4 years. It's many years um, of this um, this push of divide and conquer. It's to have power, and no matter what side you're on, it doesn't really matter. It's always a political power struggle, and for us, at least here in the United States, and really elsewhere, it's universal to people. And I I mean, I personally just want to embrace peace and love and healing. And why do we have to hate the other who is not like us? To I'm done with it, and I think most of us are done with it.
Yeah.
And we need to just move more from an example of acceptance and love and compassion. And maybe that's why they're bringing me into these emotions
Mhm.
so much more frequently now, is to exemplify that for you. So, geez,
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, it is, and we can just step out of that, people. We can step out of that. We can choose to step out of that negativity, um, and do it as much as you can, dear friends. Didn't mean to sound so harsh when I said people, but you know what I mean. Like, I mean, we can make choices, but you know what? Get yourself out in nature. Just connect with what's real. When you're starting to feel the buzz of something that's just not healthy for you, is, you know, we all know it's good to, you know, go love on your animal, you know, or go step out into nature and And that's what I did frequently.
It will speak to
Yeah.
you. I mean, I'll just tell you this brief story and then maybe we probably want to.
Yeah, because I think we have the other second part of the, so do tell your story, because I think we have that other, maybe, I don't know if I answered all the
I
questions, so
think
I
we
wanted
kind
to.
of, I think we kind of did, but
Did we?
no,
Okay.
no, I mean, the story isn't long. It's
Oh,
really
no, I want to hear it. Yes, please. We
well,
want to hear
years ago, Chris and I did a training from the Q'ero Shaman. That's Q''ERO, and they originated in the Andes Mountains, and they were thought to be dead for a very long time. And then one day they came down from the mountains, and people, they connected and were sort of a resurgence. And Alberto Vialdo is somebody who uh, is familiar with their ways, and he does a light school. I don't know if it's 1 year or 2 years, and it sounds like an amazing program if that's something of interest. I have a couple of his books, and I just highly suggest his books. One is, I think it's called Healer, Shaman, Sage, and it's kind of basic information, but it's really good reminders of stuff. Anyway, um, there's something called the 9 rites of the Q'ero Shaman, and they are to be given freely. And so we went. So this is how the universe works. I literally got an email from somebody I didn't know. They didn't. When I asked her how did she get my email, she couldn't tell me. She didn't know me, and yet I got this email. We went up to, I think it was Berkeley area, to do the 9 rites of the Q'ero Shaman. It was done in, I think, 3 parts maybe. And one of them was to connect with the earth and the mountains and the trees and, our planet. And when I was done with that part of the rites, I literally came back and the tree started talking to me. And
Okay.
so, yeah. So pay attention, go out in nature. They will talk to you, the plants, the trees, the earth, the mountains, the animals, they will talk to you. And they are such the trees are caretakers. It's a beautiful experience. If you want to know more about it, write me on, if you know me personally, or go to my website and get my email, connect with me, or it's amazing. I should bring that back. I haven't done it in a long time, but people,
Yeah. It
so
sounds like an amazing experience, and just I like how it opened up, for your connection with nature talks, which reminds me, I do something called clairaudient convos, which is also I put on social media. And I like to pick certain things. It could be an animal, it could be a plant. Recently, it was just my daughter's crystals, and I have a conversation with them. Speaking of that, you reminded me of that because I was going to mention the clairaudient convos. If you're interested, again, you can go on, well, probably more the social media. I don't know if I have all of them on my website, but um, anyway, but yeah, so they do talk to us, I guess is my point. You can have conversations. I know many of you know that. Many of you thought you could just practice. You're sitting in meditation maybe, and you're outside and just connect with a tree, nearby tree or whatever, and put a question out and see what comes back to you. Just start trusting your thoughts, what's coming in. Did you like to talk to
I feel
us?
like we could just go on forever, but I
Oh
just,
gosh, yeah, I didn't realize the time already.
no, I really invite you to look for Tammy's Claire Audient combos, and to look up. I don't think I have anything on my website about Q'ero Shaman, but you can just search it, and it's such an amazing. Oh my gosh, it was an amazingly profound experience, and
And Julie, how do you spell it? Maybe we should just say that right now, because
it's Q'Ero, and it's really, you want to search for the 9 rites, Rites, 9 rites, or Q'ero Shaman. 9 rites of
Shaman.
Shaman.
Okay.
And
Okay. No, that's good to know. Good to put it out there in case
people in
people
the
want.
Bay, people in the Bay Area do it. It's not a, it's we want to, if you're called to do it, you give the rights freely, but the work, the meeting and the mentoring that goes, it's not really the mentoring, but the work that goes with it, there's usually a fee for that. So don't be surprised if you're like, oh, you said it was free. No, it's like any class. I mean, it's going to cost something.
Right.
So it was such a profound experience for me. It may not be that way for you, but it was certainly profound for me. And I've had
That's
a lot of interest. Anyway, enough of that. So yeah, that's where we're at today. Okay. Hope this was there, second part to Rudy's.
let me just see really quickly here because I wanted to make sure we, sorry. Okay. Or then you just said, or I'm thinking of a question and an instant answer comes in before I finish a question. So, I mean, I guess we would just say to that, yeah, you're channeling. You're channeling. But you know that who we're speaking with and who wrote this comment to us, you know about that. So good for you. Pay attention to that because you are getting some things dropped in. I think that's wonderful. Pay attention to any answer that you're getting, any thoughts coming in. So again, I would say feel whatever signs you think you're seeing and you're not sure if it's a sign. It may be really obvious depending on what's going on in your life, but if not, then maybe check in on how you're feeling about it. How does it make you feel in the moment? Because that will be an answer for you as well.
Yeah, and just it could go on, afterwards. As I said, I had to really ponder what was going on for me for the next couple of days because by nature I don't get depressed. I mean, I've had experiences where that's happened, where I've had loss in my life, and that's appropriate.
Right.
But I am not. I'm like the eternal optimist by nature. Probably ridiculous, but
Yeah, we love that. We love that about you, Julie.
and so it's very uncharacteristic for me to have those feelings. So, sometimes I will check into people who are close, check in with people who are close to me and say, are you going through this? And I did that once with my sister and she's like, yeah, how did you know? And I'm like, it's me, right? And then I checked in and everybody said they were fine. So it might be the bigger picture, or it might show up later. It's just keep asking.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's right. Keep asking.
Questions, channel away, question, ask, you'll get answers.
Yep. And speaking of questions, we love your questions. So yeah, just a reminder, if you've got any general questions like that wonderful question we just had, thank you again for that. And if there's any more you have, please send them our way. And for all of you, if there's general questions you're just wondering about, please do put them in the comments for us, or you can even, you've got our contact information. You can look that up too and send it that way, however you want to send it. But we love them. We love your questions.
I guess that's good for today, right, Tammy?
I think so. I think so.
Some days we have more to say than others. Well, I'm Julie Hawkins, the Biz Psychic, and you know where to find me, all that information up there. And yeah, that's it for today for me and Tammy.
And I'm Tammy Langowski, tammysintuitive.com, best way to reach me. And again, welcome you to read any channel messages that we put out, Tammy's Intuitive Services on Facebook and Instagram. And I do put my channel messages on my website as well. So
mine are in my YouTube channel. So I do that once a month from questions.
Yeah.
And it's broken down by question. Also, I've still got room in my online virtual class, how to read the Akashic Records, and then all my best tips for doing that successfully. And if you want to do that as a business or just do it for yourself. Anyway, that starts Friday. Yeah, Friday. It's this Friday, Saturday, and then next Friday and Saturday, Friday evening. Yeah, I've got so much going on. Okay. All right, that's good for me. I'm done.
Okay. All right. Thank you, everybody. If you celebrate Easter, happy Easter and happy spring. Enjoy. So thanks for joining us.
Love. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.